Roger, roger. Maintain heading 247. We have an emergency. The toilet is backed up. Yeah, those are the kind of things you will hear on, excuse me, MWARA, Major World Air Route Area Frequencies. Excuse me. And what these are HF communications from aircraft, typically commercial aircraft. And what they do is once they get away from land, the VHF frequencies no longer work. It's kind of, if they can't see the airport, they're not going to get very good reception. So they switch over when they go over the water, Pacific, Atlantic, oceans, whatever. They switch over to HF communications. And then if, something comes up, bad weather or emergency, that's what they use for communications. And on this particular website, which is a wiki, actually I take it back, it's hfunderground.com wiki. They have maps of the frequencies used in the various areas in the world. And if we go down here, here is the Atlantic. And of course, here's Florida where I live. And this is the boundary of the particular set of frequencies they use when the aircraft are flying in this area. So when they're in those areas, they switch their transceivers over to these frequencies. And then when they go to another area, they switch it to a different set of frequencies. So, for instance, and they're noted by some initials. The area is, like this is NAT-A, and here's another one, NAT-B, NAT-E, and they all have different frequencies. And here they, and this is also called Caribbean, CAR for Caribbean, and this is for these here for the Atlantic. And then here are listed the frequencies. So this is really a great little chart to show you what those frequencies are. And like I say, this is at hfunderground.com wiki or /wiki/MWARA, which is the system, excuse me, sciences, the system they use for these transmissions. And like I say, these are normally transmissions from commercial aircraft, United Airlines, whatever, and some of them are from military aircraft. So you can tune your radio. Like for instance, I live in Florida here, so I can probably receive this area here kind of in yellow very easily. I also receive this big area here pretty good too, depending on conditions again. And these are flights from the east coast of the United States over to Europe and Africa. And a lot of it is traffic out of New York and the United States. And like I say, it's basically just information being transferred about conditions, be they inside the plane, be they weather conditions, rerouting an aircraft because there's a storm or something. And sometimes it can be kind of interesting. Of course, most of the time it's kind of boring. And you should be able to pick these up on your shortwave radio. And this would be a good application where you would use, and I did a video on this, you would use a audio recorder on your computer called Audacity, set it up that it starts its recording when it receives a signal at a certain level. That way it's not recording all the time and using up your hard drive. And you can let it run, for a couple of days or so. And then go back and listen to the traffic. It's just one of those things that if you're into the hobby, it's interesting. If you're not, it's like, why would you do that? Why don't you just watch the grass grow? So, one of those things. Now, another thing that I ran across today, and the reason I'm doing a show on this today is because I got an email about a website that provides information on these frequencies. And it's not this one, it's this one over here. It's Radio Reference. And here they talk about this system. And they give you some maps. Like here's the Atlantic again, and that's the Nat family E frequencies. And then it lists all the areas and the frequencies used in those areas. So in the Nat E frequencies, area, these are the frequencies used. I've found that the most active one is 88.25. Now, when I say active, you could sit there and listen for 10, 15 minutes and not hear anything. But typically, there's going to be some activity, especially if we get, like some bad conditions over a certain area of the world, in this case being Atlantic. So here's all the frequencies and some maps. Here's the Caribbean area, CAR it's called, and the frequencies. And then I found another website that if you're not being able to pick up anything, you can actually listen on the internet to these transmissions. You go back to the top, and this is liveatc.net. And here is radios, individual people, radios that they put on the internet that are tuned to these frequencies, and you can listen to them in case you're not picking up anything. And I use this as a check. If I turn my radio on and I listen to it for about 15 minutes and not hearing anything, which, could be just because of my location and weather conditions, I can go on here and I can pick an area and listen to it on my computer using somebody else's radio and see if they're receiving anything. If they're receiving anything, well, maybe there's something wrong with my radio, my antenna, or it's just bad conditions. So for instance, let's click, here's one in, this radio is in Sanford, Connecticut, and these are the, sorry for the commercial break to find out what the weather temperature is. It never fails, 8:45 or thereabouts. I'm trying to do a recording, and my weather station's going to tell me what the temperature is. Ugh! Technology drives you nuts. You can't live without it. So anyway, here's some information about this station, location, antennas he's using, and believe it or not, he's using 2 Collins R390 receivers, which are typically only for for amateur bands, and he's using a converter. That's interesting. So anyway, let's see if we can listen in on. And there's various options you can use to listen. I'm going to use the built-in one, and it opens this window, and delays for a few seconds, and then you can hit the play button. Let's see if we hear anything. Well, wouldn't you know it, when I actually start my video recording, there's nothing to hear. Now, 20 minutes ago when I was setting up, there was a lot of activity. So that's kind of the breaks. Oh, maybe there is activity. I have my speakers turned down.
New York, United 1520 position.
There we go.
Hey, United 1520 position, Oksana 1244. at 330. Estimate ZZ top 1249. Next is Omala, fuel 31.3. Cell call Bravo, Quebec, Papa Romeo.
Now there is a, and I should have brought it up, and I forgot. I just thought of it. There is another portion of, let me close this, get out of the way, of this website, this live ATC, that will actually show you where the aircraft is in the air. So if you hear something on this particular page, and he says, you know, this is United 227, that's the flight, you can go to that and actually see where the aircraft is. Exciting? To some people, yes. To me, yes. To other people, I'd rather watch grass grow. So anyway, since I got this update, and I thought I'd pass it on. So if you enjoyed the show, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, finally, YouTube has gotten their excuse me, subscriber thing working correctly. For the past 2 months, I've been really struggling with that, in that I would get a notification, I have a new subscriber, I would go to their YouTube page to give them a thank you, and there was already a thank you from me that was posted a year ago. Well, this week I've gotten several new subscribers, which appear to be new subscribers, and there was no previous thank you note for me. So that might be working, and my number of subscribers is going up, where for a while there it was just kind of stagnant. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.